Hello everyone and welcome to Shell Point Today for Monday, September 21st. I'm Dan Filgreen. On today's show, Mary Moore of the Legacy Foundation will tell us about smart IRA planning strategies, along with her guest Dennis Landfried, and Heather Batty of Resort Services will talk to health and fitness instructor Michelle Smith to find out why you could benefit from a personal trainer. But first, we want to remind you that tomorrow is Beach Day. It's time once again to head out to Delnor Wiggins Pass State Park in Naples. Bring your beach supplies and outdoor wear for a relaxing day under the sun and a picnic lunch. As always, there will be a stop for delicious ice cream on the way back at the Royal Scoop. The cost of the outing is $16 with ice cream on your own. Court pickups begin at 8:30 a.m. on the island. If you're not heading to the beach, then you might want to take time in the morning to learn about the Educational Concerns for Hunger Organization, or ECHO. Brad Ward, an agricultural technical consultant for ECHO, will speak about the organization and its global efforts, as well as his personal work in the Caribbean. The presentation begins at 10 a.m. in the Grand Cypress Room tomorrow. And finally tomorrow, there is another library book talk. Come on out to the Social Center on the island to hear Joy Ellen Ryan of Genonia and Anna Marie Tesoriero of Sundial as they review one of this year's best-selling novels, The Girl on the Train, written by Paula Hawkins. This psychological thriller is full of complications and betrayals. Come join the discussion, followed by refreshments at 2:15 p.m. in the Social Center. Looking ahead to Wednesday, you can get smart with IRA Planning Strategies when the Legacy Foundation and the Academy of Lifelong Learning present a special seminar. It's time to structure your IRA to optimal advantage as you learn the latest strategies to maximize benefits and minimize taxes. Mary Moore of the Legacy Foundation visits with Dennis Landfried, Vice President and Wealth Advisor for Finemark National Bank, to learn about this seminar.
Hi, I'm Terry Koleth, and I have two guests today to talk about a Legacy Foundation seminar that you will find of interest. Mary Moore has brought with us a Finemark employee, and this is Dennis Landfried. He's a Vice President and Wealth Advisor. And we're going to talk about smart IRA planning and withdrawal strategies and getting that IRA withdrawal right. Thank you for joining me, Mary and Dennis.
Welcome, Terry.
It's always so nice to hear from you or Jeff, Mary, why you have chosen the presenters that you're bringing to us in our monthly seminar.
Right. You know, we're always really happy to work with Finemark Bank.
Right.
The Legacy Foundation in Shell Point has such a good relationship with Finemark. We do a lot of academy classes and events with them. So the partnership is just there already. We also know that Finemark has a lot of residents that are their clients that would find their information interesting and pertaining to them, particularly the IRA seminar, because this is the time of year that residents start to think about their required minimum distributions that they're taking from their IRAs.
For sure. And so how wonderful for us that we have a Finemark right here, right in our own community, a Finemark Bank. Now, Dennis, you've been doing this work with, you've been working with Finemark since the beginning.
I have.
That's wonderful. And in the trust world, longer than that?
Yeah, 20 plus years now. So it's all here in Southwest Florida, and just love the people that I work with, especially here at Shell Point.
Yeah, we're pretty great here, aren't we?
They are.
Now, smart, I like these words that you and Mary and Jeff have chosen. Planning, strategies, and getting it right. So we're going to talk about a little bit of planning.
We are. You know, we're going to talk, we're going to get into detail about different types of retirement accounts. So individual retirement accounts, traditional and Roth retirement accounts, and how they function, and sort of the nuts and the bolts, so that we can make sure that we get that required minimum distribution correct.
Very nice. And then strategies. How important is it that we strategize?
Very, very important. You know, with an IRA, it really has its own beneficiary designation attached to it. So it's really, really important that you get that right, and you look at your overall plan and how that IRA impacts that plan to make sure that, you know, you're getting the spousal rollover, or you're getting your assets down to the next set of beneficiaries that you have in line.
And how sad to find out afterwards, oh, if I had only.
That's right.
If I had only done it this way. So tell me about the difference working with a senior population and the population in a whole, and your role as a wealth advisor.
Yeah, it's very, very different, you know, from a demographic standpoint.
Sure.
So probably the majority of the clients that we work with at FindMark are retirees. We do work with some young professionals that are growing their wealth and building their wealth, but they're really in the accumulation phase.
Right.
Most of the people that we work with are in a retirement mode, and they've earned all the assets that they're going to earn, so now they need to preserve and protect, but make those assets work hard for them to keep them in the lifestyle that they're accustomed to living.
And Dennis, isn't it getting, you've been at this for quite a while, isn't it getting to be more challenging as we're living longer and longer?
Well, there's no question about it. So we're living longer, and the interest rate environment hasn't helped either.
Right.
So you know, the idea there typically when you look at financial planning is, as you get older in years, you want to take less risk with your investments. Right. And you know, we're at a very unusual place in history where you might have to take a little bit more risk to get the return than you normally ordinarily would. So.
Very exciting to talk about all this. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you very much.
All right, well, we hope that you'll join Mary, Jeff, Dennis Landfried. He's also going to be bringing Reed
Sawzen.
Reed Sawzen. So you're going to have two people from FindMark, two people from Legacy Foundation. You're very fortunate. Come and join us.
Have you ever thought about getting into better shape or improving your workout regimen? Perhaps you need a little motivation or someone to make sure you have the right approach to reaching your fitness goals. On Thursday of this week, there will be a special presentation by health and fitness instructor Michelle Smith, as she helps you discover the benefits of having a personal trainer. Heather Batty of Resort Services is standing by with Michelle to talk about Thursday's presentation.
Hi, I'm Heather Batty with Resort Services, and today I'm here with our personal trainer and fitness supervisor, Michelle Smith. She is here to discuss with you her upcoming Health Connection program, Why Would I Benefit from a Personal Trainer? So thank you, Michelle, for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Heather.
Of course. So why? Why would I benefit from a personal trainer?
You know what? That is a great question. I see residents in the fitness centers all the time performing exercises or kind of looking at what I'm doing with another resident and kind of pulling me aside from time to time, asking me about those exercises. And I just want to do a workshop or a lecture that highlights the fact of what I can do to help you and support you in maybe doing something a little different, or just maybe starting a new exercise program.
Right. I know a lot of residents or people think that if they've used the treadmill or if they've used the bike, then they don't need a trainer because they already kind of know what to do. What kind of things can you share with them that are going to be outside of their comfort zone to really kind of explain that there are other benefits?
Well, a couple of things without really giving too much away is, first of all, sometimes we get in a rut and we do the same thing over and over again. We're getting on that bike or elliptical for 30 minutes every single day, and we've been doing that for 15 years.
Right.
Because that's our routine, which is outstanding. However, our bodies get used to that, and we need something to sort of switch it up and kind of shock the body. So having a personal trainer to switch your routine, show you new exercises, and kind of get you out of that comfort zone and, you know, step outside of the box and start lifting weights or do resistance training. Or even we offer aquatic personal training.
Right.
So there are many different reasons why you'd want to come to this lecture and find out what our trainers can do.
Right. And not everybody is the same. So a workout that you would do or a workout I would do would be so different. So I think another benefit of working with one of our personal trainers is you're going to do kind of a little assessment, right, to go over the resident's needs, because they're going to be different from person to person.
That is so important. I've got one resident who wants to build muscle and work out really heavy with weights, and I've got another resident who just wants to walk better, no longer use the walker, and learn balance techniques. So we do that assessment in the beginning to find out, gosh, you need a lot of support with balance, or we need to really get you on the cardio. So you're right, the assessment's in the beginning, and no one person is different.
Right, because a personal trainer does not just mean lifting weights. You can just, like you said, just work on walking better or getting up and down from a chair or just being comfortable in day-to-day activities.
Absolutely. And that's some of the things that we do with a group of residents, different groups of residents. You know, like I said, someone might want to build some muscle where the other one might want to lose a couple pounds, and someone else might want to learn more flexibility routines.
So you can do these personal trainings in one of the gyms, or you mentioned even in the pool?
Even in the pool, we do one-on-one aquatic training right now. Something we've always had, but never really shown a great sense of interest in until recently. Okay. I know Hannah does aquatic training recently, and we can do this in your own apartment as well.
So you can just go to their home, the residents' homes?
Whatever is most convenient for the resident.
Oh, that's perfect. So when is this program going to be? Because I think I want to learn how to learn from a personal trainer.
Our program is actually September 24th. It's at 10 o'clock in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands.
Perfect. So make sure you guys sign up for this really good program. Why would you benefit from a personal trainer? Thank you, and stay happy and healthy.
And now, let's take a look at today's happenings, Academy News, menus, and Village Church Connections. Right after this Listening to the Words preview from David Howenstein.
Welcome to this week's edition of Listening to the Words, which carries the theme of creativity. First, a poet who praises the imagination and craziness of the arts that he says should be part of every school curriculum. Then a teacher in Lee County who encourages his students to question and create in history class. Then another teacher says everything has a lesson to it and has written a book called Lessons of the Spider. Then Listening to the Words veteran Joan Marshall tells the story of her first big singing audition. Then Steve Hartman is on the road with a blind man who has built his own house. All that and more, including a beautiful ode to autumn. I'm your reader-host, David Howenstein, inviting you to listen to this half-hour program twice each hour, all day long, all 7 days this week on ShellPoint Channel 12. Those who do not get ShellPoint Channel 12 on their TV sets can listen online at www.shellpoint.net/listening. Either way, thank you for listening to the words.
Hello and welcome to the Happening segment of ShellPoint TV. I'm Caitlin Van Scoy and I'm here with Bev Chanley, and we're going to let you know all of Monday's activities today. We're going to start at 8 o'clock with men's round robin doubles tennis at the Woodlands tennis courts. Then we move to 8:45 for virtual bowling at the Resident Activity Center. We have billiards at 9:15 in the Resident Activity Center. And then the Lollygaggers paddlers will be heading out for their weekly outing at 9:15 at the kayak storage. We have pottery available in the pottery studio at 9:15. And then at 10 o'clock, we have the men's round robin doubles tennis at the Woodlands tennis courts. The Suzy Q heads out today at 10 o'clock to Matanzas on the Bay. You do need to sign up for that trip. Disciple Men's Bible Study Group will be at 10:30 in the game room at the Woodlands. And then we move to 10:45 for a table tennis playing clinic that'll be in the Tarpon Room down in the Island Tunnel. At 11:30, we have a Health Connections class, Agility and Flexibility. That'll be in the Health Club, and that one's currently full. Here's Bev to tell you all about our afternoon.
Thank you, Caitlin. At 12 o'clock, we have Mahjong. That's played in the Sable Room of the Woodlands. At 1:15, it's time for Samba. That's a card game, and that'll be in the Resident Activity Center. Also at 1:15, we have Tone Chimes practicing in the Osprey Room. Then we go to 1:45 for our Health Connections class, Balance and Mobility Training Level 1 in the Health Club. The Beady-Eyed Bead group will be in the Oak Room of the Woodlands at 2 o'clock. At 2:15, Do You Know Your Neighbor? Russia will be in the Social Center. Head out there. They always have a good time at those events. And then at 3 o'clock, we have a Health Connections class, Pilates Stretch, and that's in the Health Club. 3:15, the ShellPoint Singers rehearsal will be going on at the choir room of the Village Church. And at 5 o'clock, the singles table will be available at the Crystal Dining Room. We have duplicate bridge in the game room of the Woodlands at 6:30, and that's our last activity for today. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you back here tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolath with your Academy information for Monday. At 10:15, we have an iPad class. What are the basics that will take place in the managed room on the island for those who have signed up? At 10:30, our Anatomy of Words group will welcome everyone to the Oak Room of the Woodlands. At 1:15, we have computer basics on Mac laptops, continuing in the Technology Teaching Center on the island.
Menus for Monday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is salmon cakes with wild rice pilaf and pan-fried zucchini. The dinner special is Old Home Cooking Night for $11.95, and the soup of the day is Senate bean. In the Island Cafe for lunch, the special is a Philly cheesesteak sandwich with onion rings for $7.75. The dinner special is Island-style Italian beef panini with fresh fruit for $8.75. Menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm Sue Stranahan, Director of Spiritual Services here at Shell Point, and I have with me Sonny Torres. Sonny is orienting to my position as Director of Spiritual Services and is preparing to succeed me in December when I retire. Sonny, you're not new to Fort Myers. You've been here before. Can you tell us what your connection is to Fort Myers and to Shell Point in particular?
Sure. My mom and dad moved into Shell Point in 2004. They had been living in Jamaica Bay, and they moved here. And at that same time, my husband and I left to Austria to be missionaries, and we ended up selling everything we had. So when we came back, we would stay with my mom and dad during that month that we had off, and we would take walks all the way down from the Woodlands down to the island, and every day we would meet the most wonderful people, and the people in my parents' building in Parkwood were the most wonderful people, all their neighbors. So we fell in love with Shell Point. And so when my father passed away in 2012, upstairs in the pavilion, my husband and I decided to move back from Austria so we could be a support to my mother in the absence of my dad. And so we both, our dream was to work here at Shell Point. And so we ended up moving and being able to work at Shell Point together. For 2 years, I've been working in the pavilion in the activities department, and also doing interviews on the first floor in rehab and activities on the memory care unit, as well as on the third and fourth floor with patients that we had here, residents that have been here long term.
So the pavilion is familiar territory to you.
It is. I love it.
But you're going to be transitioning from activities to chaplaincy. Tell us some of the training and the preparation you've had to go through to get you ready for chaplaincy.
Alrighty, I started my Master of Arts degree a year ago in August, Liberty University, online, so it has to be on the computer, but I have been working on that, and with the emphasis is on pastoral counseling. And then this summer I had a 10-week intensive course in Naples Hospital in clinical pastoral education. So working in the ICU and the emergency room and with patients that were in considerable distress. And that was wonderful to be able to work across all denominations and to be able to have comfort for people no matter what place they were in life. We were able to minister to them and give them comfort and be there for them.
And as I recall, that clinical experience was supervised by a senior supervising chaplain, is that right?
That's right. Yes, we had classes in the morning and patients in the afternoon.
Sonny, I've looked over your resume and I'm really impressed by the path the Lord has brought you through to bring you to where we are today. You've been a busy person all your life, a wife, a mother of 3, and now grandmother of 2 darling little girls, I'm given to understand. You homeschooled your children when they were growing up, and then you taught school formally yourself. In the midst of that, you established your own photography business. You had a Bible teaching ministry with adults in an assisted living facility. And then on the other end of the age spectrum, you were a chaplain to teenagers in a juvenile detention center. You've been in Austria. So what led you to do this abrupt change and come into healthcare chaplaincy?
Well, when we were in Austria working with the institute there, we realized that, well, our major, our helpers that we had that would come every 3 weeks were all people who were seniors, and they would come, they were usually 65 to 80 years old. Mm-hmm. And in those 9 years that we lived there and worked with people from that age group, we began to realize that these were the years, I think, that people faced the greatest challenges. Mm-hmm. I thought it was teenager years, but I've changed my mind, and I realized that in these last, the season of the fall season and winter seasons of life, that's one of the greatest challenges when we face things like adjustments to loss, like my mom has had, or finding a meaning and purpose in life every day, you know, for the days that we face. And so this has been, to me, a really important change and direction in my life, to be able to serve people with the same comfort that I've been comforted with, the same hope and the same sense of purpose every day that I have, to have the love of God in my life, but also to be able to convey it and share it with people that have spiritual distress, or that are those people that are just facing everyday life. I want to be able to be there for anyone that would like to have a friend and to have some support. So this is why becoming a chaplain is important to me, because I want to have availability to people to be able to help them through all the things that we face in life.
And I think that you will find, as I did, that God saves the best till last. For me, this has been a very satisfying career, and I know that you're going to find the same thing. It's a challenge in some aspects, because as chaplains, we serve two masters. We are hired by the village church. Our salaries are totally supported by the village church. And then the village church takes us and presents us to the Shell Point community as chaplains and spiritual caregivers. We are the church's gift to the Shell Point community to provide that non-denominational care that you were talking about. So I want to express my thanks to you for taking on this role, for being willing to work with me for the next few weeks to learn all the ropes.
It's my privilege.
Thank you for joining us today for the Village Church Connections.
Thanks for joining us on today's program. Return tomorrow when Shell Point resident Anna Marie Tesoriero shares with us some of her pictures from a trip to Italy recently. And Gary Keating talks with Mary Moore about the upcoming golf tournament to benefit the memory care unit at the Larson Pavilion. This has been Shell Point Today for Monday, September 21st. I'm Dan Filgreen, and on behalf of the entire Shell Point TV staff, we hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you again here tomorrow.